Welcome, crafters, to today. Oh, the music's still going. I love that. Welcome, crafters, to Craft Along here at Crafters TV. It's wonderful to be with you today. These are my deets at the bottom. Rebecca Redican. You can call me Becky. It's fine. We have got fabulous Craft Along today. Now, if you've never seen this award-winning show, oh yeah, it is a fabulous way of you getting some inspiration. We do it at a nice slow pace, beginning to end, so that you can craft along at home. If you don't have all of your crafting equipment ready yet, don't worry, I'll run through what you need in a moment. But before that, let's have a little hello to our craft expert today. Debbie, what are we making?
Oh, we're going to do a scrapbook page. We've decided, well, I say I did a Facebook Live the other night and I was asking for people's ideas and all sorts of different ideas, from junk journaling to scrapbooks to wallets, but it was how to use the Say It With Style. So the Say It With Style is something that we're going to be covering in all of these lovely pieces here, because these are all about our lovely stamps made easy into tags, into beautiful frames there that you can add to your projects. I've chosen to go and mash it all up with other things that we've got on the show today, which we have got sunflowers, we've got slimline dies, and of course we've got that Say It With Style. So I've gone and done it a little bit different. It's a very nice straightforward project. All you need to do, and it literally is a little bit of a shopping list of what you need to get yourself started with. So if you want to join us for this craft along, this is what you're going to be needing. So if you already shopped ahead, you've got your Say It With Style, which is your ring binder full of stamps and house tag dies, and also that lovely little extra additional box that comes with lots of goodies in there. We want you, or you can, if you haven't got it, you can use something else with this, but we're going with mine, is the Nature's Garden Sunflower Collection, which is the 12x12 pad, the luxury card pack, and the striking sunflower from that collection. You also need, from the Slimline Advanced Nesting Dies, the Portofino. But again, if you haven't got that particular Slimline die, maybe substitute it with another one, or maybe bring some other of your nesting dies into the collection. I've got some jute twine involved in this as well. Additional things that you're going to need are obviously a die cutting machine, Gemini MIDI Junior upwards, to do with your Say It With Star stamps and plates. But yeah, any Gemini. Water reactive ink pads, I've chosen Grasshopper, Friar Brown, the one that's missing off there, which is the honey pot, but let's not worry about that, Becky, because we can always substitute it with something else. Opaque ink pad is the Jet Black. Something else missing off there was a little bit of glitter, but I'll talk about that in a moment. Whole-purpose glue, tacky glue, clear embossing powder, maybe a heat tool as well, because we are going to do a little bit of a heat tool embossing technique with this. Craft cardstock, multi-purpose cardstock, and pretty much you're good to go. And that's everything that you're going to need to craft along with this project. Oh, additional photo, I forgot to put that on the list as well, because I've chosen a lovely family one. This is going to go into my scrapbook that my daughter and grandkids actually made for me, but left me additional loose sheets to be able to add to, and this one's going to go in there because it's a 12x12 one, and that's what you can do. Get hold of a photo, crack open those photos that might have got from year gone by, whatever it is that you want to do, and that's just an additional one there that you're going to need. And I've chosen my grandkids because I love them so much.
Thank you.
But that's all you need.
Fabulous. So grab all of those goodies now. We'll give you time to grab them. And don't forget to save this show. It is fabulous to be able to say that we are not crafting alone. Oh no. I've got not one, but two ladies who are true family members of Crafters TV. Let's start off by saying hello to Gilmore. Hi, Gilmore. Hi.
Hi, Becky. Hi, Debbie.
Hi. How are you getting on?
I'm doing well. It's early Saturday, but I'm looking forward to this craft along.
Brilliant. Remind us again where you're talking to us from.
I'm from Michigan in the United States.
So for anyone who's not been to Michigan, can you describe it to us? What would you say about Michigan?
We're the shape of a glove or a hand. and we're surrounded by lakes on about 3 sides.
Oh, I love
And we have the Great Lakes.
Oh, wow. Well, by me, I don't know where I'm going next. And now, thanks for that tip. I will be able to spot it on a map. Gilmore, thank you so much. Now, Gilmore's going to be crafting along. But actually, I've got one of your friends crafting along, haven't I, Gilmore? We have got another fabulous lady from the other side of the pond. Well, our side of the pond, not Gilmore's. It's Jane. Hi, Jane.
Hi, Becky. Hi, Debbie.
Hi. How are you getting on?
I'm all right, thank you. It's all good.
Remind us what part of the UK you're from.
I'm from Somerset in the West Country.
Oh, so for anyone who's not been to beautiful Somerset, how would you describe it?
Well, that's where we make the best cheese in the world and cider.
Yes. Yes. Cheese and cider. That sounds like my ideal Sunday. Jane, is this the first time you've done a craft along?
Yes, it is.
How are you feeling?
I'm okay. I'm not as nervous as I thought it was going to be, but yeah, it's okay. I'm all right.
Oh, brilliant. Well, we're going to be checking in with Jane and Gilmore throughout as they craft along. If you've got any questions for them, throw them out to us and we will say hello to you on social. People already messages in. Sarah's back with us. Hey, Sarah, me love. Sarah said, hello, everyone. I'm back for more fun with Debbie and Becky. I had a fun time watching, so I thought I'd come back. I'm saving the show because, well, I'm in bed now because it's 11 p.m. So I've got my cuppa ready. Sending lots of hugs from Australia. Thank you for that. Mary's in saying good morning from Maine, everyone. Did you see that Vintage Snowman is already live on the website? So lovely to look at. Here it is. You can already buy it. The sooner you buy it, the sooner you get the points, the sooner it's delivered. It's cool, isn't it? Loads of you messaging in. Do keep those messages coming in. And if you've got any questions for Debbie as well, then do get involved. One of the items we're going to be using today is our Say It With Style. And this really is jam-packed full, isn't it?
It is, because it's basically, I mean, how the guys think of these things, they just think like a crafter, because they are crafters. We make craft products for crafting people. That's what we do here. And they've thought about this one really well. So it comes in this beautiful binder. This is the additional kit that I'll talk about in a moment. But the binder itself is literally saying it with style. It is jam-packed full of, and I'm just going to literally just move that across there because I've got a few things already loaded up into mine. But what I want to show you is what it is full of. And I think best way that I can do this, if I may, is drop this down onto the counter. You're going to see that I've already got started with some of mine because I've got a couple of clear wallets in here because this is what it's all about. It's about that sentiment on those beautiful style tags. And I've already been stamping loads, cutting loads, heat embossing loads and sticking them in there, ready to add to future projects. So you've got a couple of clear wallets in there. You've got a larger wallet in here, which is where I've actually stored my cardstock that comes from that additional kit that I'll talk about in a moment, including a magnetic sheet in there, of course, with those dies. And again, those dies come in that additional kit. These are the dies. And I'm going to call them a plate die because how it's being designed is to work with what you're going to see in a moment, all of those Say It With Style stamps. So it's being perfectly designed and it fits perfectly into your ring binder. Everything's all together, Becky. It is beyond Say It With Style. It's absolutely saying it with perfection and allowing you to get ready with all of these lovely themes. Now, if you haven't got this and you're thinking, I've never seen this, well, the details are all on there for you. Literally all down there of how you can purchase it, the price that it is, but it is all about making it really super easy. Sarah at Liam, the product development team, thought about this. A little bit of engineering went into it to line them up and design them so that the stamps that are saying it with style, and we'll go through some of those lovely stamps in a moment, but to make it really simple, really easy. Because the one thing that I used to struggle with was lining it up. Do you cut your tag out first, then you stamp, and then and try and work it out, how to get it all in there? Well, you don't have to do that because this system makes it super easy for you to use, to create, and to create all the sentiments that you need that cover all sorts of different occasions. And in here, we've got, first of all, birthday wishes. Now, all of these have been designed, and I'm just going to bring one of my die sets in so to show you, but they've been designed to work in mind, and you'll see these little crosses and you're probably thinking, what are all these squiggles? What are those little bird feet doing there? Because they look like little bird feet stamps that have just gone on the stamp. It's part of the design, because the die works in this fashion of, you've got crisscrosses on your stamps that you then line up with your crisscrosses on your dies over the top, lay it over there, and it's a plate system. So it's a stamp plate and a die plate that makes it really easy to achieve. And like I said, on here we've got birthday wishes that cover all sorts of different things, and I'm just going to read a couple out to you. Today is all about you, many happy returns. Let's eat cake, love that one. I'm always drawn to that. I don't know what it is. I know exactly where it is on my stamp sheet. But you've got hope your day is filled with extra icing. Becky, I didn't plan that, I promise you. Not from the cake to the icing. That was just one that I just went to. Happy birthday to you, birthday wishes, happy birthday in a different format, different styles of fonts on there as well. And then we're covering different occasions from time to celebrate. So this is all about the celebratory things. Put on your dancing shoes. I love that one. Congratulations, you're amazing. This is just a few of them, can I tell you? Sending love. Sip hooray, not hip hooray, sip hooray. You're invited, and lots of lovely ones from engagements to celebratory. You are the love of my life, new baby on there. That'll be the one that I'll be using because one of my lovely friends has just had a baby. Just to say on there as well. So we've got lots of occasions on the just to say, and each one of them, whether you're going with this die set, that stamping platform, sorry, I'll start again, stamping platform, or this one, it's all lined up, and I'm going to show you how easy it is to use, but I'm just going to quickly go through all of those. Family ties, you can see which one I've been using. Family ties, it's all about your families on there, and then you've got 'Tis the Season as well, which is a nice Christmas one too. And don't think that that's been cut off by mistake, it hasn't, it's been done deliberately, but it will fit over your stamping plates again with your dies. So it's a lovely ring binder full of goodies to get yourself all those tags done, all of those stamps done in a very simple procedure. I'm going to take you through that in a second. And then you've got your additional box. And in your additional box, you have got those dies in there. Love this box, can I just say? Look at that lovely little clasp sound. Very satisfying it is. Open that up. You've got some twine in here. You've got some baker's twine. You've got some ribbon. You've got your papers as well. You've got all your envelopes and your card blanks in there too to get yourself using and perhaps creating your lovely designs, or we're just giving you a little helping hand, really, basically, Becky. It's like giving you a little bit of an extra stationery set in there. But that comes with that as well. And then it's all about those saying it with style sentiments. So it's making it really easy. So it could be a focal part of your card, or it can be just a finishing touch. And again, just showing you the kind of things that you can be doing. So this one was one of our lovely designs that we brought out a couple of years ago now, but finishing it off with that family banner and that sentiment. So it's all about saying it with style, saying it easy, or should I say crafting easy. And I'm going to take you through that process in a moment, because that's why we're going to start with this craft along. We're actually going to start with how to use it. The thing that I got the most messages about from when I asked people what they wanted to see this weekend was, how do you use it? So I thought, you know what, we'll start with that and then we'll design it into our scrapbook page. So there you go, Becky. Get yourselves ready, because I'm going to get myself ready, and we'll get cracking.
You're getting all of that, and I mean it is chock-a-block full. From January through to December, you have got sentiments in there that you are going to use over and over and over. And have you seen that price? 55% savings. So that means that if I bought two, it would still cost me less than one should. Oh, do you like savings? I love a bargain. I am that type of person. If someone goes, oh, Becky, I like your dress, thanks. It was £7 in the sale. I am that person. If you love a bargain, I'm about to give you the crafting version of the bargain dress. This is your weekend super saver. This is incredible. I'm bringing to you a theme, and the theme is things with wings. Butterflies I've got in here, birds I've got in here. There's absolutely oodles within this. You are going to be getting everything you see on your screen. So individual packets, we are talking about 9 packets. Now, let me just break that down for you, okay? 9 packets at £30 is about £3.30 per item. An embossing folder, this is normally like 16, 17 quid. This embossing folder, £3.99, £3.33 today. Or if you're in the States, £4.44 each item. Let's just think about the paper pad as well. Well, you know how much 6x6 normally is. Today, £4.44 or £3.33 if you break it down. It's epic, isn't it? It's so worth the opportunity today. And whilst you are on our website, have a little look at the Sea Sun sale. And if you do fancy the snowmen, they are out, as it was mentioned earlier on. So do feel free to go and have a look at vintage snowmen. It is your weekend super saver, and we have, if you just tuned in, hi, we're in our craft along. We've got loads of people saying hello to Gilmore, and Jane. Pammy is saying, Gilmore! George is happy to see you. George, your puppy. I think so. Hello to Lily saying, how fun to have Gilmore and Jane crafting along, clap. They will be crafting along, and so can you. You got all your bits and bobs together? Great, let's dive on in then.
Yeah, so first things first is you're going to take from your, what we already give you if you've gone for that, if you went for that old collection, because I think Sarah launched this a couple of weeks ago. So if you've already got yours and you have, then all you need to do is take one of the sheets out, choose the colours, because in the colour tones there is white, there is pink, there is like a lemony yellow colour, a lovely lilac, soft lilac colour. There's loads in there to choose from. I think this is really down to you, excuse me, on what you want to choose as your backdrop. I'm going to start with a very simple plain piece of white. Now, once those consumables have gone, because let's not forget these are consumables, all you need to do to make sure that your plate, it will fit on your plate, is it needs to be the same size as the plate. And the plate itself, and I'll give you the proper measurement for it in case you're wondering, because it is quite a nice size plate. It's 5 3/4 by 8 3/4. So if you just remember rule of thumb when you're measuring your cardstock that goes onto it, because I want you to remember that this Say It With Style, we've given you a helping hand with some cardstock to start with, but you can go onto vellum. Perhaps you want to stamp directly onto your vellum, like the gorgeous sunflower vellum that's on the shows, throughout the shows today. Whatever vellum it is that you've got, you could do that as well. Or maybe you want to cut out into acetate, which I know sounds daft, but you can do that, and you can emboss onto it as well. So there's lots of things that you can choose. All you need to remember is that size of that plate. But the chosen one that I'm going with is the white. I'm actually going to the family ties as well. So when you go to the family ties section, and I'll just bring that back in a second, these are like a plate. It's like a plate. We could have done the set, you know. This is what I love about it and why I think it's ingenious, because we could have done you a compendium full of stamps with all separate die tags, but we wanted to make it quick and easy by multi-cutting in one pass of your machine and one stamp, which I just think is ingenious. It's absolutely an ingenious idea, it really is. So we're going to choose that one, and because there's 2 dies in here, I know that this one is the right set for this style of stamp.
Yeah.
So if you're going for the family ties like I have, and because it's a family page scrapbook that I'm going, I have chosen the one that's got things on like family is everything, family is where the heart is. On here there's other ones in there as well. So there's a nice choice. There's a family where life begins and love never ends, which I absolutely adore. So yeah, absolutely, that's what we're going to start with. So for that in matter, I'm going to bring in my stamping platform. Now, as long as it's a large stamping platform, and there is, I know I saw Debbie's little VT of this when we first launched this. Debbie used the plates on the Gemini Junior to stamp with, which I thought, that girl is full of top tips. She really is.
She is.
I'm not going to use my magnets on mine because I'm using my 8x8, but I am actually going to use some low-tack tape to tape mine down. Because if I just explain why I'm doing that, when you place that on, that has been perfectly sized to fit the cardstock that's in your extra kit that comes with it, that comes with the full bundle. And with that in mind, if I just lay that down for a second, you can see there's nowhere for me to place any magnets that will hold my paper into place. So in effect, it's going to alter the way that you stamp. So I'm not going to use magnets. I'm just going to push those to one side. What I am going to do is tape this down onto the magnetic base. So I'm going to use some low tack tape. So we'll pop some of that down. And I'm just going to pop a little bit into this top corner. And I don't want to go right over because I'll affect the stamping as well. So I'm just going over to the edge and I'm going to pop it down in that bottom right-hand corner as well. And that's just to stop it from moving when I'm stamping onto it. And then I'm going to place this over the top. And you'll see that it fits onto there perfectly. But I want to pick that up, Becky, so I'm going to use my stamping platform over the top. And we're going to go down and just roll over it there just to pick that up, so that it's flattened down. Now, this is the next bit. We're going to use, and I'm going to do some heat embossing. So you'll need your heat gun, and you'll need some, to be fair, can I just say, if you haven't got the heat gun, and you don't want to do any heat embossing, you could do this with a, the permanent, I call it the permanent ink, which is the, let me just grab one to show you what I mean. Just for a second, Becky, just give me a second.
Yeah, no problem.
This one will be the better one to use. Which is the permanent ink, so one of the finesse waterproof ones that you could use if you want to stamp with. Or of course, you could use quick dry. If you're going to use your quick dry ink pads, it doesn't involve any heat setting, it'll be just instantly dry the minute it contacts your paper, so that's another option that you can go with if you don't want to do this technique. Because this is your craft along, this is your project. I'm going to just show you what I'm going to do with mine, and I am going to use some of our clear embossing powder, but I want to glittify it up a little bit. So you could use this just normally clear embossing powder like we've put on that little ingredients list for you, or I've just taken a little tube of, and I say a little, one of my little dinky tubes of glitter, and I'm going to mix a little bit of glitter into the clear embossing powder to give it a little bit of a glittery heat emboss technique. Nice. So I'm going to show you how we'll do that in a second, which is just involved a little cup, because what I'm just going to do, and I'll put that in there now to show you what I mean. I'm going to take some of that out. Let's just move that across there for a second. I'm going to put a spoonful of me clear embossing powder in there.
Okay.
Because I don't want to put it back in there because this is clear embossing. And then I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of glitter into there.
Glitter?
It's ultrafine glitter. And I'm just going to mix it. Get a little mix. And now I've got a nice little glittery clear embossing powder that I'm going to add to my project to give it a little bit of a sparkle. And you can add as much glitter as you want into there. What I must remember is not to pop it back in there, because that is clear embossing powder and I don't want to interfere with that. So I'm going to move that to one side, out of the way. So my embossing powder is all ready. One thing I will tell you when you're doing an heat emboss technique is you will need to take away any static pieces or any residue that will be on the top. So for that you need your, watch me not, I've got mine now, Becky. Oh, I have. Little anti-static bag just over the top, just to wipe any way of that residue, which means when I do stamp now, it shouldn't stick to where it doesn't need to stick, if that makes any sense. Yeah. So what we're going to do is, I'll just move that to one side because I don't need that for the time being. I just need now my opaque pigment ink. You can use any colour. Because this is a theme with the sunflower, you could perhaps use either the seal brown one or maybe the pine tree one. That'll look really nice because it's like a lovely deep green. I'm just going with black for the purposes just because we're on air, but you can choose whatever colour you want. This is I call this is the opaque pigment ink pad, which is perfect. You can get beautiful blends with it, but it's the perfect ink pad for the heat embossing technique because there's it doesn't dry. It's a longer drying ink pad, which means it remains sticky and wet, which means you can add your embossing powder to it to do your heat embossing techniques with it. So that's the perfect one for that. If you ever want to think about heat embossing, the opaque pigment ink pad is the perfect one for it. But there is nothing to stop you from right now choosing to perhaps use your quick dries or use a different colour. I'm just going for the noir black. So I'm going to give that a nice good coverage all over. And you need to make sure it's covered everywhere. And because of the stamping platform with the size of this stamping plate, we need to make sure we get into all the nooks and crannies. This is when the oval shape will help you, because you can go into all those nooks and crannies because you just tip it forward, tilt your ink pad slightly forward and go down into the area. And that way you can get in to all those nooks and crannies. But I'm going to give it little, and I say little light. It doesn't sound like I'm doing it lightly, but believe you me, I am. It's just that the legs are bouncing on my glass mat, which makes it sound noisy than it actually is. So again, nice taps. Again, on the top bit there, go in with a little tilt, just so you're covering all of that. And I'm going to make sure, I'm going to go over once over again, just to make sure I've got enough ink on there. And then we'll get ready to stamp on to our piece of cardstock.
Lovely. Alison's got a question about the Say It With Style collection.
Yep.
Says, I've asked previously if CC will be selling additional pockets because they very easily and quickly fill up. Any news if they will?
I haven't heard anything just yet. I haven't, and I'm not going to lie, Becky. Do you know what I would be putting? Perhaps maybe having a look at some Polly Pocket kind of things, but the thicker ones.
Yeah.
Not the thin ones, the ones that are thicker.
Yeah.
I know they're not the same because they've got zip pockets on them, but I think you can buy some, can't you, with the zip pockets? And then you could perhaps add that into there. But as I know right now, the answer to that is I don't think there is at the moment. However, we do have Leanne in the building on the 13th of July, and maybe you want to head back to that show, which is a Creative Craving show on a Wednesday. Perhaps you'd like to come and join us and ask the lady herself, because if anybody knows the answer to that one, it's our lovely Leanne. So yes, right now, currently, as I'm aware, I haven't heard anything of the sort just yet. Right, we're going to go in now, and this is why I'm using the stamping platform. I can sit my legs into those little footwells, I can place that over the top, and then I'm just going to make sure I actually stuck that down. Yes, you did, because you lined it all up at the beginning, Debbie. And now what we're going to do is put the pressure down. Now, there is wiggle time with this, so a bit of a wiggle movement. We don't want that. So what we're going to do is we're going to choose a place to stamp, I'm going to hold, and we're going to go down, so we're going to push down, and then you're going to go over and make sure that you cover all those stamps that are down there. And I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to try and hold it. And do that. Of course, with you using the stamping platform, if you've missed an area, you can go back in. It's not too much of a hardship, that one. And if it does go wrong, Becky, do you know what? Doesn't matter, because we can go back in again. We've got 50 sheets in that to start with. And it is, at the end of the day, just a bit of cardstock. So if you do go wrong, don't worry. Absolutely, don't worry, we can go back into that. I'm going to lift that up and just have a little peek and see where I'm at. So I can see that there's a little bit of an area there missing and a little bit down here, so I know where I need to be going in terms of re-inking. Now this is when I'm talking about not moving it. You need to go directly back over the top and go into those nooks and crannies that you think you missed. So I'm trying to remember where mine was. I think it was down there, and I think I missed a bit down here. So I'll just go back over it again. And let's lift that off. And I think, apart from that little bit, let's go back in. This is the beautiful thing about this stamping platform. We talked about this earlier, saying it being a game changer. Absolutely a game changer. And I'm quite happy with that now, because I think I've hit all the areas. So before I actually sprinkle my, my glittery embossing powder, I'm just going to lift that off for a second. I'm going to bring in a sheet of spare paper just underneath because I want it to catch that. So I'm going to pop this down. Oh, I've heard the craft along ladies, they're one step ahead. They're already on there. So let's go in and sprinkle some of my embossing powder over. I'll start with the top. Let's pop that down and then just sprinkle that downwards. So I'm going to go in and sprinkle that down. And go and hit all that stamped area. Anything that you've missed, don't worry, because we can go and pop that back in our cup. And we can pop that back underneath. And we can sprinkle on the areas that we've missed, because it doesn't dry instantly. This enables us to be able to do this. So we can go back in and hit those areas that I think possibly may have missed. You normally can tell because instead of it being a black, it's got like a bit of a grey effect now because of where the powder is made contact with. So I think that looks like it's all covered. I can see a bit of sparkly glitter everywhere. But for just one last little bubble
Yeah,
up.
may as well. Kelly said, I agree with you, Debbie. The stamping platform was a difference between me giving up on stamping and enjoying it. It helps take the pressure off my carpal tunnel in my wrist.
Yeah, absolutely. It's one of the reasons why, because a stamping platform for me was always the better option. Jan was the one that said, because I was struggling with certain ones. Now, I know that our rocker blocks are amazing rocker blocks. They're amazing stamping platforms. But I know that sometimes getting the pressure down when you're hit with a sudden bout of the numbness, it's almost like a thick pins and needles in your hand that can last for, like I said, it can either last a short spurt or it can last a long time. I have to literally beat some life back into mine. I usually slapping my hand everywhere trying to get some life back into it. So yeah, it was an absolute game changer for me. Totally and utterly a game changer.
Great.
Now we need to heat set this, Becky. So what we're going to do is before we're even die cutting, before we're even lining it up, we are going ahead and heat setting this. So I've got our noisy one. So Becky, I'm not going to be able to hear you because I haven't fetched my quiet one. So I am going to just explain this and talk over this. I'm going to set it on to the highest setting, but I'm not going directly straight onto there because I want this to heat up. Because when it's been switched on and not used for a while, it doesn't get to that optimum temperature. So I wanted to make sure that we get to that right temperature before we heat set it. Because if you go on with it cold, it has to stay on your project a little bit longer. And that's the danger when you can get some, because you can overheat your paper and you can burn your paper. I know that sounds stupid. I'm not saying flames. I'm not talking flames here. I'm talking where it tinges it with like a singed look. So make sure that that's right. I know that that'll be ready now. And then we're going to go over the top. Now, I'm not going to pick it up with my hands. I'm going to leave it on my glass mat. And I'm going to just set that across. And because it's now at that optimum temperature, it means straight away I can see it heat setting almost immediately. And it just means that I know from going over there now, I'm not in danger of overheating this. You can go underneath. If you want to go underneath, I prefer it on top. That's just my personal preference. Everybody has their own personal preference. Anybody who tells you there's a right or wrong way, there isn't. It is a personal preference. And it doesn't matter which way you do it. It's fine, absolutely fine. I hear people say, oh, you're doing it wrong, you're doing it on the top, it should be underneath. I've tried both ways. I prefer this method, and if it works, Becky.
Absolutely.
That's all I'm going to say on that matter, because the things that I read and see sometimes I think, this is daft. We all craft in a different way. There's no right or wrong way at all. And you can see now, just by taking it across there, it's heat set that. And I've now got this beautiful sparkly, a sparkly black I'm going to call it. I'm just going to make sure I've hit all the areas just by going over. Notice I'm not wafting, I'm not going like this with it. It's just set it across, move it along as you see it set, and it's all done. And I think that more or less absolutely is. And I'm just moving across there. It's just in a couple of little areas I've seen that I didn't quite catch that first time. But absolutely beautiful. I'll never tire of heat embossing techniques ever, at all, because it's just a lovely part of crafting. So that looks like it's all done. And I've not singed anything, and I'm going to let it cool down before I run my fingers across. Too many times I've seen people heat set and then put the fingers on. And you want to remember that's had some great big heat at it. So you're going to let it cool down for a second, and you can always test by then just rub it across, and you'll see that that is absolutely perfect. And it's got this lovely, and I'll just try and catch it in that light, a lovely twinkle to it, because I've added that glitter to that clear embossing powder. And that's the way that you can make your own glittery embossing powders. I think, I'm just going to go back onto that. You say crazy like it's a bad thing. Isn't that great? Absolutely fabulous. That's better. I must have missed that area when I didn't see it. I thought I got over it, but clearly I hadn't, Becky. But we're all good to go now, because that is all perfectly done. And literally, All of those now are ready. Now, normally when we do this, you would have to start snipping out each individual one if you were going to do a great big thing like that. But no, 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 no. We have made it really, really easy because these crosses here match and correspond with the crosses on the die plate. So that's the stamp plate, this is the die plate, and then it is a simple case of lining it up. Now I know if I put that down, that's not right. So we're going to turn it back round and we're going to pop that on. And then Debbie was just thinking, have I got the right stamping plate for my stamps? Of course you have, Debbie, because now you'll see it lines up perfectly. What you need to make sure is when you're using this is that crosses, so those dark crosses, are bang smack underneath that die. And it means you might have to have a little play and a little fiddle with it before you actually line it up. And I'll bring in my big plate just for a second to show you. So I'm going to pop that onto there. Let's turn that way. And I'm going to use my larger one. Now, I did watch Sarah with the launch of these, and she was using her MIDI all the way through. Absolutely, these will fit through your MIDI. But I'm going to use my larger plates in my larger machine, and I've just got a couple of pieces of tape, and this is the bit that you need to make sure you get right, because if you get this bit wrong, so can you see the cross line isn't underneath there? If I was to stick that down now and cut it out, I'm going to have areas what aren't right. So on this particular one, it won't be right. Now, I'm only going to use certain elements of this one. However, I've got the rest of them then. My brain has too many tabs open. Love that one. Love this one. You say crazy like it's a bad thing. Remind me how old you're pretending to be. Well done. I have it all. I just need to remember where I put it. Oh, my days. If that stamp was made for anyone, that was made for me. So proud of you. Don't you think if I was wrong, I'd know it. I love that. It's cracking sentiments on here. But I just need to make sure that I'm lined up perfectly. So, and this is when I don't want you to worry. Do you know when you see it's coming off line here? I don't want you to worry about that because it will work itself out. And I'm going to have to do this, I'm going to have to do it by eye. So excuse me a moment while I just line this up, because trying to do this at this angle where the camera overhead is, in my eye vision, is not right. So I just need just a second just to line it up. So if you just give me a minute, I'm going to line it up and then I'm going to place it down into place. Just for the purposes of this, make sure I'm on there and then line that back. And that looks about right. So we're going to just stick down, and I'm going to stick it over the die, over the plate and the paper, Debbie. Again, just making sure that I haven't moved it, and if I have, I can just get that back into place. That looks about right, Becky. Yep, absolutely. And then that last one, I'm just going to stick down onto there. Now, this is a thin metal die. Like I said, don't worry about this. Doesn't matter, because all of this is right. You can see it all perfectly positioned, and if I turn it that way, you can see there now, look how lovely that's all lined up. Trying to do that with separate stamps, separate dies is, I'm not going to lie, a little bit of a nightmare. So I wouldn't want to do that. And that's how easy it is to use the Say It With Style compendium. Super easy. And what I will tell you is, and what I did when I first got hold of mine, I literally went through every single stamp set, every die set, and I cut through and stamped loads and filled my wallets up, so that I know now when I want to add something. So I've got to make some, so in between the next show, between this show and the next show, I've got to do a bit of prep to get some things ready for tonight. But I know I've got a set of sentiments all lined up, all ready and ready for me to go, because I've got them in my kit already. And that's what I love about this. When we talk about things that you will use regularly on a regular basis, this is one of them. This is absolutely one of these. Because there's all sorts of different ones on there, from different occasions, celebratory occasions to meaningful sentiments, everything that you need at your fingertips. And the lovely thing about this as well is they've got lovely added elements of the tags on this. So if I lift that off just for a second, that bit you're going to throw in the bin. Let's get rid of that. But can you see where you've got these? And I'll just pick this one up because we are going to be using this one. But can you see how lovely these are? This is when you can thread ribbon through them, twine through them, jute through them, or simply have them as they are. But how gorgeous is that? I just love these. I'm going to pick out my family ones. So I'm going to pick Family Is Where the Heart Is, Family, Where Life Begins and Love Never Ends, because I want to use that one as well. So we've got two there already. I think we're going to use Family Is a Gift That Lasts Forever. How beautiful is that? I love that one. I'm gonna, let's have a think. Happiness is homemade, because of course, that's where family comes in, because we all make our own families, don't we? So I'm gonna move all those to one side that I need. What else do I want? Where's my family is everything? Is that on there? Yeah, there it is. Family is everything. I'm gonna use that one. Anything else? I mean, in my family, I'd definitely be putting that one down. You say crazy like it's a bad thing. I mean, that's crazy. That's all our family is. It's absolutely crazy. But I'm happy with those. I think I'm going to use one more, but I'll use that from a different stamp set, but we'll do that later on, because I just wanted to give you the gist. Now, none of these are going to be thrown. Where these are going to go, Becky, is, and I'll just bring this in for a second, is these are now going to go back in, and let's just push them all off there. Let's get them all off there for a second, and I'm going to just go back to that beginning, go back to my little wallet, and inside there now I'm going to pop, and I've separated mine. Do you know we've got two different style of plates? I've separated mine. Do you know this little two pieces? I love this two-piece wallet one. I love the big one because that's where you can pop you can actually stamp them, have them all stamped up ready in there, and then when you want a die cut, get your die cuts and you've got them all stamped up ready. But I'm just going to go in and pop all my spare pieces that I'm not going to use into, I've just seen that one, Becky. Throw sass around like confetti. Come on, let's throw some sass, Becky. Let's throw some sass. But honestly, these sentiments in here, and you can see I've had a little play with colours. I've had a little play with heat embossing. But I know I've got loads in there that I've got now to be able to go to whenever I want. You can ink around the edges if you want to as well, which we're going to do a little bit of that in a moment. But there is my sentiments already made up into my little wallet, ready for me to go, and I'll just put my die back on there. So in here you've got your magnetic sheet, which I think is just ingenious, may I add, and then I've got the stamp as well. Now the stamp is still on my platform, and all I'm going to do is clear it with a cloth, and I say cloth, I'm going to use a wet wipe. Give it a good coverage over, and you can see I've got quite a lot because I've used my opaque, but give it a good coverage over there. Clean that up, and then it'll be ready once you've cleaned it, and I'm going to use it with a little bit of tissue as well, so I'm going to put a bit of tissue over the top just to get rid of all the excess ink. And then we're going to put that back into our folder, because you've now got this lovely folder, touch of your fingertips, and I do promise you will use this ever such a lot. I bet any money, those who already got ahead of the game and who bought it when our lovely Sarah launched it, I bet any money you've already got loads. I know I'm just start crashing things around in here, Becky. I know it won't take long. I'm going to go back into my correct stamp, and I'm going to place that back onto the carrier sheet, onto the tab, ready for reusing again at a later date. And it's as simple as that. That's how easy it is to use this collection.
Fab.
And what you've got now is, like I said, a lovely folder that you can then pop onto your shelf. So you slide it onto your shelf. It sits there with all my other compendiums, I'm not going to lie, ready to pull out whenever you need it to use. And we'll probably come back to that later, but for now, I've shown you how simplistic to use it, how easy it is to use. A little bit of heat embossing thrown in there, and then we'll start to build our scrapbook page up.
Perfect. So that is your Say It With Style collection. A fabulous 55% discount today. It is UK only, as you can see. But just a reminder, 55% off! And with the money you're saving, how about adding a little bit of sunshine to your day? We have got the sunflower collection on our show today, and this is what we're going to be using to create the sort of positive vibe feeling of this make. So if you've not seen this before, let me just dart through your elements and bringing to you some lovely sentiments and dies that work in conjunction. I've got your fabulous, oh, I went a bit Welsh then, didn't I? Fabulous frame, which I adore. with the detailing, great colouring. I've got your striking sunflower. I've got this beautiful frame, which I just think so wonderful, and really nice big open petals. So actually, how cool would that be for paper piecing? And if you did paper piece them, this could look like a variety of different flowers, not just sunflowers, something worth bearing in mind. I've also got for you the sun-kissed wishes, the sunflower bouquet, which is lovely. Use your different colours, layer them up, and you create that within minutes. I've then got your embossing folder. Run your embossing folder around it, stencil it up in different areas, and you can create something that looks painstaking but's taking you hardly any time. I'm bringing to you some vellum in here as well. Wonderful vellum with fabulous bold designs. Some of them with lots of open areas, some of them with less. So it really adds interest to your pieces. I've also got for you in here your luxury linen. Now, this is a textured luxury, and I don't know if you'll be able to hear this. Hear the texture on that? That texture, it is almost like you've zoomed in really, really close on fabric. And you see all the colours on the front? Those are the colours you're going to be getting. Multiple of each of those, 24 of them in total. I've also got for you in here your foam. And the foam you could use with those floral dies, and you'll be able to create floral flowers. Floral flowers, foam flowers. Oh, I love a floral flower or a cloudy cloud. I've also got for you your papers in here. You've got 6 by 6 size, so 6 inches by 6 inches. I've also got the huge 12 by 12. And this is what we're going to be using for the back of our scrapbook page. So if you do want to seize the moment on this and recreate this design that Debbie's whipping up, now is your chance to do it. By the way, if you love 12 by 12, I have got a dealio for you, but I'll tell you more about that in a bit. Hey, should we catch up with our pals? See how Gilmore and Jane are getting on? Yeah, go on then, let's do it. Hello, Gilmore. Gilmore, are you muted? Have you put yourself on mute? Yeah.
Always, yes.
Gilmore, how's your piece coming along?
Well, they're die cut,
Perfect.
and I love the different shapes. I love the variety of the different banners.
Do you
So I
think
have
there's a
those all ready
section?
to go.
Do you think there's a section of it that you'll use quite a lot?
Probably the family one, the birthday one, and the Christmas one. Probably the most.
I love that. You basically just said probably
Basically
all of them.
all of them.
I love that, Gilmore. Are you working with the sunflower collection?
Mine just made it into the country. It's not with me yet. So it'll be another 3 or 4 weeks before I get it.
Okay.
However, I do have one of my next favorites, which is the vintage butterfly. So that's what I'm going to try and use.
Oh, fabulous. Oh, I love that. I can't wait to see it in a different theme. Thank you, Gilmore. We'll check back in with you in a bit. It's not just the gorgeous Gilmore we've got with us today, though. We have also got Joyous Jane. Hi, Jane.
Hiya, you alright?
Yeah, not too shabby. How's yours coming along?
Oh, not too bad. I've never been called Joyous Jane before. I
Have
like
you
that.
not?
No. Oh, no.
What have you been called, Jane?
All sorts of things, love, but never Joyous Jane.
Love it. Are you working with the sunflower collection for this one, Jane?
Yes, I am. Mine arrived, I think it was Thursday, so that was pretty lucky.
Oh, perfect timing there.
That's gorgeous.
Do you love it?
Absolutely gorgeous. Yes, sunflowers are my favourite flowers, so it was always a dead cert when that one came in up for.
Oh, that's fabulous. Made just for you. Right, well, I will let you carry on. Joyous Jane. We'll be back with you in a little bit. Before we carry on with this, I do just want to mention some 12B12, if I may. 12B12. It always makes me feel like I'm down at, a DIY shop. Do you know what I mean? I'll have some 3B2, Bob, thank you, for the window frame. Anyway, 12 by 12. Paper and card pad. Now, not just any, we're talking luxury mixed cardstock. Now, let me let you know, if you want a treat, blimey, that's expensive. That is costly. I was just about to say, I know that this is a bargain, but I won't lie to you, that is spending.
Someone's foot with those zeros.
Ignore all of the zeros at the end. It's $12.99. There you go. It's $12.99. Yeah, it's like that, isn't it? We have got for $29.99. Yeah. No, it's $19.99, 20 quid, isn't it? So just to let you know, if you do want this, head on over to our website, type in mixed cardstock. Now, this is a cartload left over. I've got a couple of handfuls of it. So if you do fancy stocking up, now is your chance, because there are luxury cardstocks. So I'll have a little flick through. Now, normally, you'd expect to pay around that for this one, right? Yeah? Especially as it is our locked-in glitter, so that glitter goes absolutely nowhere. No glitter on my hand whatsoever. We've also got in here, someone's been snipping into this one, we've also got the pearlescent cards in here too. That one's a double-sided. So, normally, $19.99, I'd be chuffed as peas to get this alone for it. But today, I'm also offering you the gold for that price point. Yeah, so again, interlocked glitter for you glitter lovers. And you've also got that fabulous pearlescent in the gold. So we've got your rose gold or your copper, you've got your gold. What about one more? Let's add a silver to the collection. Yes, genuinely, all 3 pads, $19.99. So when I say all 3, I do not mean this one is $19.99 and then this one's $19.99 and then also this one's $19.99. I mean all 3, one note, delivered to your house, $19.99. Well worth a little grab if you do fancy it. Whilst you are catching up with us, we're giving you time to check everything out. We are going to give you the opportunity to check out your baskets. Remember, the summer season sale is on. Sale is on. So if you do want to grab any last minute treats on there, because it ends tomorrow, well worth a go. And speaking of seasons, don't forget about the snowmen that are on there. Vintage ones, worth a look if you fancy it. Whilst you're doing that and having a nose around, carry on with the nattering. We'll be back in a few.
Welcome to Crafters TV. With more than 35 hours of live shows each week, it's your home for all things craft. We shine the spotlight on new and innovative crafting products with live tutorials and demonstrations. Join our family of craft experts where fun happens every day.
Quiet. The neighbours.
I'm all out of Zoom. I'm so lost without you. I'm not singing.
Lisa, if you email in, don't send a picture of your air fryer. Make sure it's something creative.
Get creative and craft along. With our amazing deals, your next craft project is just a click away. Tune in live 7 days a week, or you can watch us on Catch Up at crafterscompanion.com, Facebook, or our YouTube channels. You can chat to us, craft along, and meet new friends by joining our online crafting community.
You entertain us, you give us a community to talk, in the chat. That wouldn't happen without you guys. It's like Crafters Companion is magical. There's magic here.
Joy, there's not a dry eye in the studio here. Debbie's welling up, I'm welling up.
There's a show for every type of crafter, from first-time dabblers to full-time makers. Crafters TV. Create every day. Quick Buy. All your crafting must-haves in a flash. Draw, decorate, and customize your world with the colorful Spectrum Noir acrylic paint markers. Each premium paint marker gives opaque coverage on ceramic, glass, wood, and let's not forget paper, cardstock, and canvas. These versatile markers are filled with highly pigmented premium water-based paint, offering beautiful, rich, and smooth coverage. The colors can be blended together, and the fast-drying opaque paint is ideal for layering. A 3mm bullet tip offers smooth strokes, and a precision valve mechanism allows rich and consistent flow with no clogging. Quick Buy. All your crafting must-haves in a flash.
Welcome back, you lovely person. It's lovely to be with you. How's your craft along coming along? Maybe you're not crafting along, but you are saving the show. If you are, fabulous idea, because we're definitely going to want to carry on with this. We have been using lots of fabulous elements with this one, including the likes of our sunflower collection and Say It With Style. So should we dive on into the next steps? Let's do it.
Yeah, well, we're just going to go back to those tags for the time being because we need to ink around the edges. We're going to do a little bit more die cutting. We've got to compose our piece. So we've got quite a bit to get through. So we're going to go full steam throttle now. Now, I'm using Fryer Brown Harmony Water Reactive Ink Pad. Of course, depending on the colour theme that you're going with, this might not be the right one for you. Choose your colours accordingly, which will match your papers. But I'm literally just going to go around the edges and give it a tiny little bit of what I call a distress look. Not too much, just a little touch around the edge, and it just softens that stark white against the black by adding that little bit of colour. And I'm going to do that around all of them. So again, just take your ink. I'm using a little finger dough, but you can be using the round ink applicators or the square ones, dependent again on what you have at home. But just give that a little soften around that edge, and it just gives it this really nice, and it's that nice like kind of vintagey feel, which again is going to fit in really beautifully with the sunflower colour scheme that I've got going off. So again, I'm just going to go around those edges, and you're going to do that on all of your pieces that you've got. So just a little tickle. I'm not going on full throttle. I'm just tickling around the edges to give it that little bit of that distressed feature. And I'm going to do that on this one, like so. There we go. Lovely. And then last one on this one. There we are. Lovely. So that's all of those done. So for now, that's all we're going to do for that little bit of inking. We'll come back to that in a little while. So I'm just going to move that to one side. I want you to get your plate back out. So the plate that matches those that we've just used, because we're going to use our craft card. And I've just cut it down to size where my plate is. Just literally, again, just took my scissors and just literally lined it on the craft card, took my scissors, cut it down. Because I want to create a little bit of a drop shadow with these. So we're going to pop those on, and we're going to use, and we're not going to use all of them because that's a full plate. There's no separate pieces. It's a full plate, which we're going to just take those elements that match up for each one of these out. So again, when I take those off, you can see how lovely they've cut. Literally they just drop out, Becky, when you pop that on. I'll move that over there for the time being. I know I need that, let's just match these up round there, that one. So we'll go with that one because that matches that one. That one matches, does that match that one? Let's have a little peek. It's almost like a jigsaw puzzle, this, Becky, because you've got that many pieces on here. That one, is that one? Happiness is homemade. It must be that one. Yeah, surely it's that one. The love heart, straight, easy, forward one to find. And then lastly, because I don't need that one, is it? There it is. There it is. We've got them. So all of those I would perhaps pop back into the pop of your folder because they might come in handy for future ones that you've got. And then of course throw away. I mean, look how it's been, honestly, so well thought of, this collection, really well thought of. But I'm just going to pop those to one side. I'm not going to do anything with them just yet, but I've just made sure that they've got all their pieces. In fact, I'm just moving on to this part of the counter because we're going to take our gorgeous papers from our sunflowers. Now I know you guys that are crafting along, one of you are using them, so I think Gilmore's using a different one. All you need is a 12 by 12 piece. Now this is the most glorious, glorious paper pad, and I suppose really this is down to your personal choice of the side that you want to use. I am actually not using the highly decorated side. I am using the other side with this lovely script writing through there and a little bit of a water wash. And I'm not going to do anything with this. I'm not going to chop it down. I'm going to keep it as a full piece that we're going to use. But I have got another piece because to create a little bit of a composition on my scrapbook page and add a little bit of fun element to this as well. I'm going to take a piece of craft card and I'm going to cut this down to 10 by 8. So grab hold of your guillotines and we're going to cut this down to 10 inches. So use your large guillotine for this one. If you haven't got your large guillotine, you can use your glass mat as reference to what 10 inches is. You can also use a craft knife and ruler if you like the good old way of crafting. But I want an 8 by 10 piece, so 8 inches by 10. And then I want a piece of that corresponding paper to fit inside my frame. So I need to cut this down 1/4 of an increment. So I'm going to go in with, let's turn it that way. In fact, no, I'll have that piece. I'm going to go in with, bearing in mind I know that it's 8 inches, so I'm coming down to 7 3/4 inch. And I'm going to line that up to the very top. So 7 3/4 inches by 9 3/4, because obviously I've got a 10 by 8 and I want this to fit inside there. Make sure your arm is right up to the top. Make sure your paper is flush along the top part of your guillotine, and then snip. And I've now got that perfect piece. And again, this is your choice, which side do you want to use, which will complement it. It's entirely up to you, this again. But for me, I want to give it that little bit of a distressed look. So this is when I'm going to choose to rough up my edges. Now this is when you can use things like, and we do have these tools, don't know whether it's worth checking on the website, but we've got an edge scrimper. And it simply is, you just pop it inside, so you can see the little groove, you pop it in, and it ages and distresses your paper and your cardstock. So I'm going to go in and do that all the way around. I like a distressed look, I'm not going to lie. You can achieve this, if you haven't got one of these, you can achieve this look with a pair of our scissors. Because you get your scissors, you know, take some care with this because you are going to be holding them and I grip them from the top and the bottom at an angle rather than putting your fingers across the blade. But you can do exactly the same if you haven't got one of those edge scrimpers, or I forgot its proper title.
Distressing tool.
Is it a distressing tool? Yeah, producer Jamie's going to probably have to have a look at it on the website because I can't remember its official name. Apologies, I can't remember its official name. But it's a little small. I think it's about $2.99, $3.99, something like that. But it's got a lovely where you can just go in and distress. You take it a bit and run it across your paper or cardstock, and you can see it just distresses the edge. No, producer Jamie, it's not the flower forming one, no. I don't know where it'll be, and perhaps maybe one of our social media superstars who's watching might know the proper title of it. Who's on our socials today?
It's Chloe.
It's who?
Chloe.
Chloe? Maybe Chloe might know. Or maybe one of our lovely viewers who's watching, if they're not crafting along, might know the proper title to it. But it's definitely on our website. It's a crafter's companion tool, and it just gives you this lovely look. And I'm gonna distress it even more in a second. I just want to create that lovely edge crimper. Something like that, you know. What was that, Jamie? $2.49. So I weren't far off from price, was I? It's all right. It's a nice tool to have instead of getting your fingers wrapped around a pair of scissors and potentially doing yourself some damage, because this is a safety feature, and it does mean you don't get caught up in it. You're not going to get your fingers snipped. You're not going to snag anything or anything like that. But it just distresses around the edge. But I did just say that I'm going to distress it a little bit more because I love, and this is again a personal choice, but I love to give it a little tear, just a little tiny tear in that corner. I think I'll go up here as well. So I've got a little bit just there. We'll go a little bit at the top. I'm not going to bother with the side because I will be putting my photo there, but of course you can do if you want. So I'm going to just pop a little bit just at the bottom, and you're probably thinking, oh my God, what's she doing? What is she doing? But I'm just showing you how you can distress your paper up and give it a really nice oldie look. Now, all I do is I get my poker tool, and I take my poker tool, and I wrap one of the ends, and I just give it a little twirl around, taking that poker tool in the end, and giving it a little turn, and it just rolls it round. So if you haven't got that right the first time, just keep going until it just naturally wants to go into that curled look. And you can see now it's really creating a little bit of a really old look now, like a torn paper. But I do love this technique, I'm not going to lie. It's something I don't do often enough of. I remember once going to a demonstration and doing this with one of the old vintage shabby chic kind of collections. And one of the girls there, Liz, who regularly used to come to Chesterfield, but oh, Debbie, no, I can't. I just can't. I can't tear into my paper. It's not for me. It might not be for you. If you don't like this effect, you keep yours nice and straight. It's entirely up to you. At the end of the day, this is your craft project. This is your craft along. It's your scrapbook page. You decide how you want to do this. I just like this look. I think it lends itself to a really nice vintagey kind of feel. And even though it's a beautiful summery collection, I love this technique. So again, I'm just going to give that another little roll. There we go. And then I'm going to distress it even more because I'm going to bring in my grasshopper. Now, you could use, if you want, to go back to that fire brown. You'll get a different look completely if you use the fire brown. But I'm going to go in with grasshopper because it's kind of the kind of colour. Obviously, this lovely tone here wouldn't lend it, you know, it wouldn't be too far amiss to do it with the brown. But I personally like the green, and I'm just going to go in with my, now then, let me see if I can find one with green on. Our pads here are quite well worn. Yep, they are very well worn. That'll do, that's a green. Bit lighter than what I'd want, but it'll do. It will do, Becky. And I'm going to go in, oh actually no, it's a bit too green that, no, change my mind. Let's go in with a darker one. There'll be a dark one here, yep, that'll do. So I'm going to go in, and I'm going to go in with, and of course you can pop a little bit onto your mat if you want, and use that as the palette to pick it up, but I'm just going to go around the edges and distress it even more. So, and give it a little bit more of an edge look. And I'm going to go over those areas because obviously the core inside our paper pad is white. So if you want to take away that white, add your ink in. And again, it'll just give it a nice little distressed look just around each one of those corners. And I'm not worrying if I tear it a little bit more because I quite like that look. And I'm just taking that around the edges again. I'm not going right over, I'm just taking it on, tickling the edges. We'll call it a little tickle around the edges. And again, all the way around. And then that gives it this lovely aged look and a little bit distressed look. And what we're going to do is we're going to pop it onto here. But I'm not going to leave those gaps open. I'm actually going to put some of our petals through there as well. But for now, what we can be doing is we can be sticking that down. So I'm going to use our wet glue. This is when I'm going to use our all-purpose. I'm going in around the edges, not going over those tears because I want those to still stick up on the other side, but all the way around there. Pop a nice coverage of glue and just stick that on. And if I just line that up, I'm just going to do it by eye, just wiggle it into place. Because you've distressed it, it will look a little bit like it's not neat, but that's the look we were going for. It's not that you want it to look nice and neat, you want it to look a little bit distressed. And again, just curl that over, stick that down. And you've got your nice little sheet that's going to go on to our 12 by 12 piece, that's going to be our scrapbook piece. And we're going to sit it onto the top of there. Of course, what you can do, and I didn't do it with my original one, but what you can do is take your 12 by 12 and just to bring it in together so it works really quite nicely, I'm going to go in and just go around the edges. Now, if you want to distress this piece, you can do. It's entirely up to you. It's your project. But because mine's going in my scrapbook page, I'm going to keep it nice and straight because it's going to fit inside my 12 by, it was just slightly bigger than 12 by 12, my scrapbook. But it'll fit in there nice and neat. So all I'm going to do is just bring in a bit of that ink around the edges. It frames it, it gives it a nice little feature when you do this. And then all the way around. I've got myself, so I'm not happy with something, I'll just go back in again. But what it does is it just brings it together. When you pop that on top, you can see that effect it creates just by, it softens it a little bit. On my original one, I didn't do that. I left it quite clean. You can see the difference between the two. This is more distressed, this is clean. It's entirely up to you what you do. I quite like the distressed looks. I think I might be having to go around that in a moment with my ink. But there you go, you've got your nice little piece. Now, you can stick this down if you want. In fact, let's get that done. Let's get that done. Let's stick this down. So I'm going to go pop in there because I'm not doing anything else at the moment. Depending on the size of your picture, I've used a 4 by 6 on mine. It's entirely up to you. It depends what you want to use. But I'm going to go a little bit over to this side. So it's going to be a little bit off centre. And I'm going to go in and line that up and then just stick that down. There we are. I'm just going to look at that by eye, make sure that's nice. Yep, that's perfect. And there we've got now our piece that we're now going to layer on our slimline dies onto. We're going to do a little bit of cutting with our sunflowers, because what we're going to do is we're going to start to layer this around and compose this around into places once we've got our slimline dies. So I'm just going to put all these to one side for the time being. So let's just pop all those on, and then we'll move that to one side because we need to do some other elements as well with our things. Now, I don't know if you want to just have a quick, short breather, Becky, while I just tidy my inks up, because we're going to get onto some next die cutting in a moment. But I just need a couple of minutes to get my slimline die out and my sunflower dies, because that's the next stage we're going to move to.
Great stuff. Let's talk about those slimlines, shall we? Hey, we had a brilliant demonstration with these in the show earlier on. They are fabulous. They have this wonderful flourish. So they're a nesting die, and I think sometimes traditional nesting dies are very simplistic, right? It's a circle and a small circle and a small circle. You get the gist. With these ones, we have gone bang on trend with that classy, as they were described earlier on, slimline look. But the flourishes within these just elevate it. Have a little look. If you've not seen them before, brief explanation. You're going to get 3 dies in each set, that if you cut them out each, you can layer them up to look like this. However, you can equally just use them alone. And in fact, some of the stamps and some of the little tags that you make with the Say It in Style would fit perfectly in the centre of these, and that could literally be the front of the card. You can also use, say, this one and this one to create just that as a frame, so it's open in the middle. But also what you will notice with these is some of them are really lovely and interchangeable. So you've got different designs in here, as you can see. You've got angular elements within here, but you've also got ones that have this wonderful movement, almost like waves to it. You have got lovely areas for like paper piecing, great to use with acetate. I adore this one, this kind of Art Deco-esque design. And don't forget, I'm showing you them landscape, but equally they will work as a portrait. I mean, imagine that with maybe your own little design on as a bookmark. You just put a little bit of a maybe ribbon at the top here. A beautiful gift for someone who loves reading. I've also got for you this final one, which is the Portofino, and I know that we're going to be working with these ones in a moment or two. Today you have got that £15 discount or $22.95 off if you do want to seize the moment. Can I also say that whilst you are seizing the moment, how about you seize some money back in your account? Because we have got the Weekend Super Saver, and it is a super duper trooper ABBA style saver. We have got a massive collection here. So the theme with this is things with wings, right? So we've got elements, say, in here that are like your butterflies. You've got more butterflies in here. I've got like buzzing bees in this one over here. We've got like birds. We've got dragonflies. Just things with wings. We've got some Sharon Callis in there. Each of these individual elements, if you were to separate them and price them up individually, you'd be looking at over £102 or over $125, which is understandable because there's a lot there, right? Today, per item, you're looking at about $4.44 or about $3.33. Which is just mind-boggling. Obviously, you know, your embossing folders are normally 16 quid, this one here. So your money is just made back. You're saving money as soon as you get these two. It is mega opportunity. Don't even get me started on that platinum price. So it is so worth seizing the moment. And whilst you are doing that, remember that on our website right now, we have got the final lines of the summer season sale, which does end tomorrow. So grab with both hands. And whilst you're there, have a little nosy at some other things. Maybe you're feeling a bit vintage, a bit snowman. There's some things to make you smile there. Maybe you're planning on adding a bit of sunshine to your life with these. You can have a look at that for shopping the show. There's loads on there, so do treat yourself. It's a Saturday. Can't treat yourself on a Saturday, when can you? And do feel free to let us know on socials what you're getting your hands on. So I hope that you've all had a chance to catch on up. Have you managed to get everything you need out, Debbie?
Yep, I've got my, I've gone for the Portofino die sets. It's entirely up to you. Again, if you haven't got these, you could perhaps use the other nesting dies if you wanted to. You could actually just leave it blank if you wanted. It's entirely up to you. But I wanted to use, with my say with star sentiments, I wanted to draw focus to it, but I wanted to have something to anchor them down to. So in my head, I was thinking, what could I use? And I thought, well, I've got these on the show, so let's use these. So I'm going to go in with some of the craft card, and I'm going to cut myself a base, and I'm going to just roughly cut this, just so I can get, I don't want to waste all of the craft card. So I'm going to just roughly cut that to size. And we're going to anchor that down with some low-tack tape, just so it doesn't move anywhere. I'm going to use a bit of multi-purpose cardstock with this one. Actually, do you know what you could use? You could use some of that gorgeous textured linen cardstock that's in the show as well.
Oh, nice.
But I'm going to stick with my white. That's the theme that I'm going to go with. So again, I'm just going to cut little pieces off. I'm not going to waste all of it because we'll come back to some of those pieces shortly. And then the smaller one, I think I'll have again in craft card actually. Yeah, I'll draw it back in. It'll bring that back in using that craft card. So let me grab that said piece of craft card again. Let's use that little piece. Let's just chop that. So let's cut these pieces. So we'll go in with, again, we need some low-tack tape to hold all three down. If we use our larger platforms, we should be able to get all of this done in one fell swoop. So let me bring in large plates and then line those up. So we'll have one going that way, one going across, and one at the side of it. So with that, I can get all of those three done in one go. Which again, I think fascinating, but just shows you again, if you've got the larger machine, absolutely fine. If you've got the smaller ones, you just need to go in separately. You'll just take the pieces in separately. You might get two of them in at a time, as in the smaller two, the larger one on its own, because they will fit onto, they're 8.3 by 3.3, these dies. So you will get this onto your smaller machine, like your MIDI or your Junior. So let's just pop that down and we'll get rid of those pieces. This is when we're going to do a little bit of tapping, Becky.
Yeah, no problem.
Again, remove your tape. If I take that out, I love this design, it's so cute. Just poke out your little pieces that may have been left behind.
Okay,
but again,
lovely.
we're going to give it a little distress look. That's why I've got the fire brown ink pad out, because I'm going to distress around the edges of those. Let's just pop that back on there. And we're only using this once, Becky, so we don't need to, once you've used this, you can pop it away.
That's easy. Sarah's message saying, Becky, I got the slimline dies. And now I've got another order in this show. I've got the sunflower plus extra cardstock and pads. Sarah, congratulations. Well done you. Oh my goodness. When these get delivered, you are going to be in crafting heaven. Well done to you. That's brilliant.
I wonder if anybody's gone ahead and shopped away to the snowman, the vintage snowman. Have we had any sneaky people that have gone in there first?
I'm not sure. Apparently, there are a few. You're a big fan of that paper, aren't you?
I love that paper pad, and I will just say, I know it's officially launching on Monday, but I think what they've done is, because it's the weekend, rather than coming in first thing on Monday morning, they've got it all ahead. So we didn't know this, did we, until our lovely Jamie checked, and we were like, you're kidding. So if you wanted to have a little sneaky, you know, get ahead of the game, so that first thing on Monday morning when the guys from the warehouse are back in and they'll be getting ready to ship out, you could be getting hold of yours as early next week. So perhaps it might be just worth your while having a little look. You can always come back and watch those launch shows and catch Jan with all her fabulous demonstrations. Absolutely. And don't forget, we'll have craft alongs, we'll have loads of the experts popping there, you know, their take on it.
Ideas, yeah.
But if you get ahead of the game, especially that paper pad, I am going to tell you, it flew. When I was down at Olympic yesterday, oh my God, I can't tell you how many of the paper pads we sold.
The colours in it are lovely, aren't they?
Yeah, absolutely. They've got a lovely vintagey, nostalgic kind of look and feel, and the colours are beautiful as well.
That's a good description.
So, yeah, so if you want to get ahead of the game, don't tell them that we've told you. Keep it quiet from Jan and whoever she's, I'm pretty sure it might be Ben actually. but don't tell anybody. Now, with the fire brown, I've just gone round the edges and inked, just to give it again. Can you see that the craft card in its plain variety is quite solid? And again, I want to soften it, so I'm just softening around those edges with that fire brown. I'll go back in.
Oh, Sarah's said about these slimline fabulous dies that we're currently working with. Becky, you read my mind. Spooky! About the slimline being bookmarks. Yeah, well, they're perfect for it, aren't they, Sarah?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I always say that about us, Sarah. It's like one mind shared between the two of us, isn't it? But, yeah, oh, well, if you are going to make some bookmarks with it, Sarah, do, once they're done, send in pictures. We would love to see them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely would. Now, I could use the brown on the white one so that it all ties in.
Yeah.
Because I've got a lot of green on my card, I'm actually going to switch to the green.
Okay.
So I'm going to do a little bit of the grasshopper around the edges of the white one. And that's just to bring in, because I've got craft card and greens in my scrapbook page. Again, it's just about thinking about the colour scheme and how it all ties in and brings it all together. But again, I'm not going all over, I'm just tickling round those edges and just giving it a little distressed look. I'm not going over it all.
Another nice thing when you add the ink to it is it brings out the debossed sections that are in the dies a bit more, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely it does. So what I'm going to do now is line these pieces up. Now this is down to you. This is your scrapbook page. It's entirely up to you. You can have them flat if you want to keep them flat. Or you can raise them. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do a bit of both. I'm going to keep this flat onto the top of there. So I'm going to use my dotty tape pen. And I'm just going to go over the edge. Of course, if you want to lift all three pieces, you absolutely can. This is, again, your project. So I'm just going to go in and pop that into the centre. And can you see now how that brown with the green, especially when you pop it together on top of that page, is going to look really fab. On the top of here, though, I am going to turn this round and pop some foam pads onto there. And that's just to give it a little tiny lift. Not too much, but a little lift.
Lovely. Panda Craft says, I like the brown ink on the craft card. It looks like laser cut MDF.
Yes, it does.
It does. One of the best smells in craft, in my opinion.
It's the best smelling craft. Oh my God. I literally go around sniffing at that. It's just delicious.
Oh, me too. It's so nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your favourite crafting smell? Do message him.
I know it sounds wrong, but I'm going to say it, but I love glue.
Easy for you to say.
The Cologne glue. I like that smell.
Yeah, I
am
do.
not a glue sniffer. Can I just say that right now?
No, it's just when you use it, it's the smell in the air.
Sniffing glue? No. It's just a nice smell. Some people don't like the smell. I actually quite like the smell of the whole purpose.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it came to anything favourite, it would be MDF because it is divine.
So sniffable.
And now we've got our little piece that if I bring back in my sheets, because it should have been drying, let's just pop that over there. What we've got, and I'll just move those pieces again, is we've got a central part and a central panel to our scrapbook. Just adding a little bit of dimension. It's adding something else into that equation with your pictures. So you can stick that down if you want to stick that down. Tape, glue, whatever glue choice you want to use. I'll go back in with all-purpose for this part. And I'm not going to go around those little edges because I'm going to be adding things into them. But I want to stick that down. Actually, she says that, but I really do actually. I'm just going to go back in just around the edges with me dotty. Bit of a mixture of a double glue there. There we go. And I'm just going to place that in and onto my sheet.
Okay.
And again, let's just have a little look at that. Just want to make sure it's central. Yeah, that looks fine. So I'm going to stick that down, happy with that, and then we'll come back to these in a moment because we've got another little bit of die cutting to do in the form of our sunflowers. So we're going to bring in that lovely striking sunflower, and I'm using some of the textured cardstock. Now if you haven't got any of that textured cardstock, you can use things like your alcohol markers or your inks to colour this in with. I've just chosen to use some off scraps of cardstock, in craft cardstock, sorry, to go into the centre of the sunflower. And I'm going to multi-cut these. Now I've put 2 pieces together, so as you can see I've put 2 pieces of the textured cardstock, and I'm just going to hold that down with a little bit of tape on both of those, because I didn't with a craft card as well. Don't want them wiggling around and moving around. But to make the most, I mean, if you're going to use your smaller machines, you could put those through one at a time, but I want to try and get as much as I can done in this. I'm going to bring in some of that green textured cardstock for the foliage. Just say it, Debbie. I can't say the other word, Becky, so I'm not going to apologise like I normally do. I can't say it. I try. It doesn't work. So I'm sticking with what I know.
We know what you mean.
I know, you know, I know what I mean. I've lost me, I wonder if that's what I dropped on the floor earlier. I've lost my low-tack tape. Let me just have a little wander around my counter.
Okay,
because normally it's under my nose. However, on this occasion, I did hear a drop, and I think I might have dropped it, but there's no physical way I can get down on my hands and knees and look, so I'm just going to stand back a little bit.
Okay. We can
No,
go
it's
to a
not
little...
there either, Producer Jamie.
It's not there.
Oh, that's a mystery. That's a mystery.
If
Oh, that's a thought. Check the bin.
Just to let you know, on your screen right now is Say It With Style, that big box. The collection that we're working with is the Sunflower collection. So if you do want to seize the moment on that, I know quite a few of you are treating yourself to it today, including Sarah, who messaged in. So if you do fancy grabbing it, then absolutely do. And speaking of florals, let me remind you, on the show today, I've got Country Lane for you, which is great if you've ever been inspired by nature. Yeah, we all have, haven't we? So just a quick show around of this beauty. I love the textures.
Before you get through, Becky, if that's all right.
Tell me.
Just so that people can get ahead, because I can see time's slipping away with us. Do all your die cutting of your sunflowers. I'll do that, Becky, while you go through those, because you don't want to see me doing this bit. But I'm just going to run those through and cut myself out a few sunflowers, and then we'll put those together. But I'll let Becky show you that beautiful paper pad, because it's absolutely glorious. You can be doing this while Becky's going through that.
So as well as your 6x6, you're also going to be getting some vellum in here. And vellum, the design on it is sensational. If I show you it against that light detail, you'll just see how impactful it is. And there's loads and loads of different designs within this. As you can see, all of your vellums in here, and it's going to be beautiful. If you do get that distressing tool, it's going to look great when you distress it. Colour palette wise, I'm sticking with the same hues. We're bringing to you the luxury linen card here, those wonderful outdoor colours, and I've got for you your 12x12. So let me show you this, because it is the big bold version of the 6x6, but again, you've got like wood-like textures in here, you've got layered designs, and you know how sometimes when we bring you paper pads, it's almost watercolour. For me, this is almost like doing chalk rubbings. That's the kind of textures you get here. There is layers that are almost translucent, and you can see through, for example, the flowers to that background. It's lovely because it looks extremely layered. So if you do want to treat yourself to this, the whole collection is on your screen right now, saving over 15%, $42.99 or $56.49. How's it going?
I've just transferred to my little mini, because I want to try and cut out quite a few of these. So I'm going to, because these are lovely, these flowers. I know we're going to be going into more detail later on, but I just want to try and get, I want to get about 4 or 5. So I've gone 2 there, so I'm just going to keep on doing that. Again, you could actually try and cut through them a couple of times with your machine. It's entirely up to you, but I'm just going to try and speed this process up, just so I can get. I think we've got a sunflower craft. Is the sunflower? Have we done the sunflower craft along? Because I know our Jan's. I'm pretty sure our Jan's got the sunflower craft along coming up soon, unless she's already done it. I'm trying to think.
I'm not 100% sure. I do know of it that this beauty here is on our blog. I do know that we've got a blog about this one. It's lovely, isn't it?
Who's made that?
Lovely, Liam.
Lily?
So there is a blog.
Oh, it's beautiful, that, Lily.
Oh, no, Liam.
Oh, Liam. Liam. Do you know our Liam? He's coming up with some right beauties just of late. Absolute belters. He's absolutely gorgeous, some of his things. That is another gorgeous project.
Knock your socks off, isn't it? So
Oh,
this is our
absolutely.
sunflower collection. If you do want to seize the moment, if you grab it, then you can get the blog on how to make this. So well worth the thought.
That is absolutely beautiful. He's made some beauties. I've seen some lovelies. It's Christmas decorations. But he does a lot of work for our blog, and he does make some really, really interesting projects.
Have you seen the box that he's done for the vintage snowman?
Oh yes,
The treasure chest.
Yeah, stunning, absolutely stunning. You know, it really is fabulous. Again, that's what I love when you see other people's takes on things and the things that you can create. And I love that Liam loves construction. It's right up my street, construction. I really do love and enjoy construction. But yeah, absolute belters. Absolute belters. He's coming out with some beauties, isn't he, Becky?
Definitely.
Absolute beauties.
Yeah.
Right, so don't be die cutting and then dropping, Debbie. That's the last thing you want to do. So, so yes. I didn't think she'd done it just yet. So we've got a craft along coming up with our lovely sunflower collection that did you say Jan? And Joe? Yep, so Jan and Joe are going to be coming up with the craft along with the sunflower, purely the sunflowers. So, yeah, that'll be fabulous. The sunflower collection will be a good one, and I can't wait to see what Jan comes up with, because it'll be something quite special, it will. So all I'm going to do is just multi-cut. I don't know if you want to check in with the girls while I'm just doing this, because all I am doing is making sure I've got plenty. You don't need to see me doing this process. Just keep cutting as many as you want. This is a personal taste. How many do you want on your project? So I'm just going to do a few of these while you're having a little chat with the girls.
Lovely, jubbly. Let's dive on in and see how Gilmore's getting along. Gilmore, that is the face of pure concentration.
This is one of the very rare times I'm distressing and tearing things. But it's very pretty.
Do you not normally do that? Do you normally keep it crisp?
Pretty papers.
I love that. We had a lovely message in from Maricel earlier on, Gilmore, and Maricel was asking, because you're doing vintage butterflies, what colours, inks were you using to go with that?
I'm a big fan of the Midas ink pads, so I use like a bronze to ink the edges.
Oh, lovely. That's beautiful.
I love the Midas ink pads.
I absolutely love the Midas too, the glitzy ones. They look brilliant. How are you enjoying it so far, Gilmore?
It's making me think outside the box because I'm not using the sunflowers, so that's kind of throwing me off. I'm distressing things, so it's quite exciting.
That's lovely. It's keeping you on your toes.
Yeah.
Right, we'll check back in with Gilmore in just a moment or 7. Let's head on over to JJ. Oh, joyous Jade.
Hello, beautiful Becky.
Jade, how are you getting on?
I'm not too bad, thanks.
Yeah?
I didn't have the guys that you're on today, so I've had to compromise with some other nesting dies. So I'll stick another photo in there, I think.
That looks really nice, though. I like the way that you've positioned that. Have you done distressing before, or do you tend to keep things crisp?
I tend to keep things crisp. I was surprised at how easy it was to destroy some beautiful paper.
Sorry, I love how it's not distress anymore, it's destroy.
It's destroying. But no, the effect's good. I quite like it, and I probably will do more of it again.
Oh, that's really good. Oh, isn't it lovely, Jane and Gilmore, who are friends, you know, crafting something a little bit different. That's just wonderful. Jane, I'll let you carry on destroying things. And whilst we are doing that, just to let you know, on screen right now is your Say It in Style collection with that big file and box. And what we're working on now is Debbie was just cutting out all of the pieces from the Sunflower collection, which is available on show. So we've cut those out. What are we up to next?
I'm still cutting, Becky. I wanted to have some green ones, some white ones, because I'm going to add a bit of ink to them. So I'm just cutting. I've cut all my sunflowers. I've cut all the middles out. So I'm now going in with the foliage. I'm going to cut some of those because I can see it's 1:30. I think we're on time though. I think we'll be all right. And we'll be fine. We will be fine. And whatever we don't get done in this, you'll be able to complete at home. But what we'll have got is all our pieces to be able to compose things together. So I think we'll be okay. I'm just going to cut one more little white one out. I think I'll have, I think I'll just do it again. Let me just go in there.
We're talking about crafty smells because we're talking about this lovely smell of laser cut MDF. Ro is in saying, I'm with Debbie. I love the smell of the Clal glue.
Yeah.
Also, Mary's in saying, I love the smell of pigment inks.
Oh, yes. Yeah, because they do, yeah. They've got a slight odour to them, yes.
Yeah.
And I don't mean a horrible, smelly, pungent one.
No.
But a nice
fragrance.
odour. Yes.
They have a fragrance. And also paper, the classic one.
Oh, I love paper. Love the smell of paper. Tell you, with paper, you really smell delicious. Unky Dory.
Oh, right.
Unky Dory's cardstock smells amazing. I know that sounds weird. It does sound weird. Honestly, it sounds like I go around sniffing a paper pad or cardstock. But yes.
Unky Dory's the #1 scented paper for you, is it? Brilliant.
Right, so I think I've cut enough pieces. This is what I said to you earlier, Becky. I never know when to step away from there, but I think I'm going to step away from them because I want to do a little bit of distressing around some of these as well, and we need to compose our flowers together as well, and then we'll be ready to add our jute to it. Let me just make sure I've got all of those pieces, and I'll make sure I've got all back onto there because I don't want to be losing them. I'll be using them later on tonight. So let's just move those out of the way, put those away. So yes, we've got all our pieces. So we should have quite a lot now in front of us. If you've got a little bit mad like me, like I have, as I always do, it doesn't matter because whatever we don't use will be fine. Now you could, if you wanted, use these as full without adding anything to it. But again, I just like to soften up the edges a little bit. So I'm going to use our honey pot, water reactive. I'm going to go in and I'm just going to tickle around each one of those petals. And again, this bit, especially if you're doing this craft along at home or this is a bit that I would say just take a little bit of time with it. When I did my project at home, it did take me a little longer than 2 hours. I normally time myself. When I've got an idea of what I'm doing, I normally time it to see how it works with our time slots. And I'm not going to lie, this did take me slightly over the edge of the 2 hours. However, you'll take time at home. You're not in any rush. But once we get them all, can you see how it's just softened them up a little bit? Just by adding that little bit of ink, it kind of just softens it. So again, you could be using the brown if you wanted to use the brown maybe to give it a little bit of a real sunflower kind of look, because that's the beauty of sunflowers. They've got that lovely golden browny tinge to them. And that's what you could be doing as well. But I've gone with the honey pot. Oops, I've ripped a petal off there, but try not to do it, Debbie. Try to keep it nice and soft with it and not be too heavy-handed. I mean, I'm absolutely shocking for it, Becky. I do it all the time. I'm like a rip the plaster off kind of girl. Not just a nice gentle flick. I'll rip it right off. And again, I'm going to go in and ink all of those petals up.
Lovely. Linda's joined us. Hiya, Linda. Nice, thanks for getting involved. Saying good morning from Milwaukee. My sunflower collection is in the USA. And I had to order the vintage snowman, the extra collection, because I love snowmen.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, congrats. Hey, and if you order it now and you are in the US, and obviously it takes a bit of time sometimes, like customs and all the rest of it, doesn't it? You will have it. Still, even ordering in advance, plenty of time to get Christmas crafting, won't you?
Absolutely. And, thank everyone for the patience while we've been going through the transition of changing over to our warehouse as well, because I know it's held up a few things, but all systems go now, Becky. So, you know, thank you for your patience, because obviously it does take time for things to work through customs and things like that. You've all been amazing, but your things will be coming. Can't wait to see what you're all going to get up to, all the kind of crafting that you're going to get up to with them as well. I'm just distressing around the craft card again with that fire brown, just to, again, give it a nice little feature. What was that, producer Jamie? Oh, I think we'll be fine. I think we'll be fine. And then I've got my grasshopper one as well, so I'm going to go in with the grasshopper. So I've got my flowers sorted, put those to one side. Got the centres sorted, put those to one side. Let's go in with the green. Now, you can do this with these. I know it's green on green, and you're probably thinking, well, that's a bit of waste. But again, it just gives it a little bit of a soften to it and a little bit of extra dimension when you just add that little bit of ink. So it's entirely up to you. I suppose it depends on who you're giving this scrapbook page to. If it's for yourself, I don't know about anybody else, but I do spend that little bit of extra time when it's something I'm making for myself or for someone that I love. I take that little bit of extra time going into all this. If it was something that you're making to sell, you could still mess with it a bit of time, but I wouldn't be, I wouldn't want to spend too much time on those kind of things. I just want to get the bare basics done.
Time is money when it comes to selling.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Absolutely. And I'm going to take the white one, and again, I'm just going to go over the tips, just around the edge. And again, it softens that white up, but adds a little bit of colour, so it's not too stark. And again, just go around the edge like so. There we go. And
For Holidays' message saying, good morning from sunny Florida. I've just barely made it. Where have you been for holidays? Oh, no, really, thanks for joining us. How's it in Florida today? Go on, make us jealous with the weather. It's raining 1 minute, cracking the flags outside another. Can't make up its mind today.
It's a very weird day today in England. The weather is a bit all over the place.
Changeable.
Yeah, very changeable. Let's go into there. Now, I'm not going to mess about inking too much more because I'm quite happy with that. And I can see again that time is flying by. How does it get to disappear in this building so quick? Right, so what we're going to do is we're going to push the foliage to one side. Just going to quickly wipe this up because I don't want to be spoiling any of my projects. So again, I'm just going to give it a little wipe just to get rid of some of that ink. And again, take that off, and then I'm going to use it. I'm going to switch to my tacky glue. So I'm going to pop some tacky glue. Now I'm going to stick these all together, and then I'll do the shaping. So I'm going to stick my sunflowers to add a little bit of tacky glue to the back, and I'm just going to offset it slightly. It makes a nice difference when you offset those petals. And I'm just going to stick those down to one side. You could of course use 3D cloud glue, tape pens, whatever it is that you want to use. But I'm just going to go in with tacky.
Would you use 3D collal in a scrapbook page?
You can do, yeah. Yeah, you can do. I wouldn't use it for layering and things like that. It's just for the lifting element. I wouldn't use it for, and I certainly wouldn't use it on my photos. We do a photo glue, Becky, here at Crafters Companion. Do you know, adhere your photos to your cardstock so that it doesn't spoil your photos?
Yeah.
So there is an option that you could use that for your photos themselves.
Brilliant.
Yeah. So
great idea.
I used to use it all the time, especially for my scrap pages. But I do them sporadic at the moment, my scrap pages. I'd love to do more because I do love scrapbooking.
Yeah.
But I just don't have the time to do as many as I would like.
Yeah.
I think I need to put some more glue in here, Becky, because I can see it's starting to run out a little bit. But I'm just lining these up, all those centre petals. You can see they're so realistic, these. I mean, they've been designed with the foam in mind, but I've used paper to show that you can use your paper as well. So if you run out of foam and you don't want to purchase any more foam, that's fine, but you can use them for paper as well. So just go in.
For anyone who's not used the foam before, what would you say is kind of the difference with it?
With our foam, it's heat activated, so you activate it with some heat, and it makes it more pliable to shape and distress, and it's absolutely spot on, fantastic foam, one that I absolutely love, and it stays its shape. Once it's been heat activated, it stays in shape, which means then you can do what it can. Do you like your real 3D kind of projects, like your flowers in your vases, like your
like homeware?
Yes, home decor around your frames. Thinking of all the other things, maybe pieces that you want to use for a wedding or something like that. But our flower foaming foam is absolute top quality, beautiful foam, very easy to work with. You can add inks to it and add alcohol markers and things like that, but once you've heat activated it and shaped it, absolutely spot on. So there, my flowers all done, Becky. We'll come back to shaping those in a minute. I need them to dry for a couple of seconds. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring our piece back in, because we'll start to compose it, because I can see we're getting towards the quarter mark, so we haven't got masses amount left. However, we've got all the elements, and that's the perfect thing that we need. So I'm going to bring back in my scrapbook page, and this is when you'll get your photos. What we can be doing is adding some little elements in. So I did say about the back of there, I'm going to add things like some of these leaves to the back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to shape them. So I'm going to take my bone folder, and I'm going to shape them as well. Now again, this is up to you what kind of glue you use. Again, I'm going to stick to me tacky glue, and just pop this in, and just add it and tuck it underneath your little ripped piece. Don't worry about that glue; it will dry clear, and then you can give them a little shape whilst they're down. And I'm going to do that around a couple of them. Let's move these pieces. Let's go in. Paper is pliable. You can move it and manoeuvre it and shape it, even when it's in its form that it is in. But I'm just going to do a few more of those, Becky.
Oh, For Holidays is saying, hi, Becky and Debbie. It's 82 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 28 degrees C. A hot and sunny day.
Wow.
That's a nice temperature, isn't it?
Yeah, just. Oof.
I mean, that's a sit outside beverage with ice in hand. Soak it up, isn't it? Soak it up.
Absolutely. Now we'll start to think about where you're going to place your things. Now I've actually offset some of mine with my and I actually did a little bit of distressing around the edges, but because we're slightly working towards the clock now, obviously at home, do that at home, but I did distress around the edges of my craft card as well, so I'll just do that quickly now as each piece as I'm going around. And we'll start to add things like jute in there, and of course, because this Stately Style has got all those lovely areas where you can add things like, I'm looking for my foam pads, Becky, because I've started throwing things around, panicking now, thinking I'm not going to get all this done. I'm just going to try and find my foam pads.
You find those whilst I ask. Angie has said, what is the name of the photo glue?
I think it is just called photo glue. I'm pretty sure it's Kalal, and I'm pretty sure it's photo glue. I know we've done it because I bought it from here a while back. Now then, if I can't find out for you,
Jamie will have a look.
I will find out. Jamie can have a look for us, yeah, absolutely. Jamie could have a little look for us. But I'm pretty sure it's called photo glue, Becky. As daft as it sounds, I thought it was just called Kalal glue, photo glue. I could be wrong. Then, of course, we could have stopped selling it, is what we could have done, without me noticing. Because I've got
It's Kalal 100ml photo glue. Get that in your search bar, Angie.
And it means if you stick it down to things like scrapbooks, you can peel it back and you can reposition things, and it means that if you put it into a scrapbook and you want to change up your pages or your layouts, you can peel it back without it ruining the photo, ruining your project. So yeah, it's absolutely fabulous stuff.
$3.99. Bargain.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's great. Oh, it's out of stock. Jamie.
He dangled the carrot and then he let us down. Right,
whipped it away.
Yeah.
But maybe worth adding it to like a wish list or whatever, so that when it is in, you've got a little.
It'll email you. If you do that and you pop it in there, it'll email you when it's back in stock.
It's back in.
Yeah. So I'm just offsetting these, Becky, a little bit. I'm going to add my jute to it in a moment, but I'm just getting these all ready. Again, I suppose it depends. I mean, the jute itself, I've just taken our jute and I'm just threading it through. Do you know how these lovely little bars here? And I'm not really being overly careful with this. I'm not tying pretty bows in it. It's just to add a little bit of a rustic feel to it. Yeah. And just type it. That's the lovely thing about these dies, these sentiment dies, these Say It With Style sentiment stamp plates and die plates, and you know, so many sentiments in there that are true. They're absolutely fabulous. I'm hoping loads of people who've already got it have been, you know, will share with us exactly how many times they've been using it, because it is such a useful set to have. It really is fabulous. So I'm just going to tie a little bit in the end there. Again, I'm not going to tie pretty bows. I just want to add a little bit of something to the project. So, and I'll just roughly cut that. And then I'm just going to stick this down. Now, I'm going to stick them down and then I'm going to place the flowers and the rest around it. But I'm not being careful where I'm popping it, and I'm kind of off-centering things. So I'm going to do that with all of these. And if you want a little top tip beforehand, and this is what I did, I literally placed them around and thought, is that working for me? Does that work for me where I've got them? And if the answer is yes, then absolutely. And this is what I mean. I meant that I went round with all my areas of where I was putting things before I actually stuck things down, just to double check that I was happy with where I'd positioned everything. And of course, add your photo here. And if you're doing a 4x6, 4x6 will fit onto there perfectly. And then start to add the rest. So build it all up, and then stick things down. And that's the way that I'd gone with it. And again, I've just been adding like foam pads onto the back just to give it that little bit of a lift. You could, of course, use your 3D Collal glue for this, because it will dry, it will settle. It takes about a few hours to dry properly, but I'm just going to quickly do these. But isn't this gorgeous? Now, I don't know if you want to check in with, while I'm doing this, you've just seen me put those down. And where you want, if you want to check in with the girls, I don't know if you want to go and have a little look while I'm...
We are going to do some cards, because we've got that cardstock thing sorted. Technical. I love it when you speak technically, Jamie. The typo's gone. It's no longer more expensive than your house. It is just $19.99. I just want to give you a little look through this in case you've not seen this before. Actually, normally for a pad like this, you wouldn't be too far off paying 20 quid or $23, because this is our luxury cardstock. So you've got like glitzy glams, and then you've got pages and pages of your pearlescent wonder. But I've got your rose gold colour, and I've got the same in your gold colour, which is just Midas touch delicious. It's so nice. And you've also got the same in silver. Now, you might think $19.99 each, you have to pick your favourite. You most certainly do not. You are going to get the silver, the gold, and the rose gold all today for just $19.99 or $22.29. I mean, you've seen the platinum price. That's phenomenal, isn't it? If you do fancy treating yourself to it, now is time to have a go. It is $15.99 or $18.36 for you today. So if you do want to seize the moment, definitely do. And don't forget, you can multi-purchase on this. I will just let you know that it is a what's it called? Cartload. Sorry, I had to remind myself the American word for trolley. Yeah, it is a cartload item. So that means that basically it's an exceptional deal, but also it means that stock can dwindle pretty quick. So if you do fancy multi-buying, you can, but just grab a few whilst you can. We have been lucky enough to be joined by two fabulous ladies today crafting along with us. Let's head on over the water first off to the US of A and say hello, Gilmore. How are you getting on?
It's going pretty good. I had to change a few things just because of how I cut the paper. I wasn't paying attention when I cut my paper. So.
Oh, I love that positioning.
Oh, beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
And then like
Absolutely
Jane, I
beautiful.
didn't have the dye, so I used vintage lace.
Oh, that looks gorgeous with it. Where are you thinking of putting the photograph?
Somewhere probably around here. Probably
Beautiful.
up here, somewhere in a frame.
Oh, that's
Off-center.
so lovely, Gilmore. Thank you so much for showing us that. Now, purely because of time, do you mind, Gilmore, when you finish that, taking a picture of it and emailing it in and we can show it on another show?
Definitely. I'll do that. I don't mind.
Perfect. Gilmore, enjoy carrying on crafting. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it.
It was a great project to showcase the banners, something different.
Yeah.
And it was definitely a fun scrapbook page. Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you,
That's
Gilmore.
fab. Nice work, Gilmore. Let's head on over now, a bit closer to home, to Jane. Hi, Jane.
Hello, my lovely. You all right?
Yeah, no too shabby, thank you. How's your crafting going?
It's all right. I'm still sticking flowers together.
Lovely.
So, you know, as far as we've got at the moment.
Florals. Do you use florals a lot, Jane?
No, I don't. But a bit like Debbie, I've got a little bit carried away with foliage and flowers. There's foliage and flowers everywhere at the moment.
Oh, I love
More the better, I say.
Yeah, absolutely. More is more. Jane, do you mind doing the same as Gilmore when you finish taking a picture and emailing it in?
Absolutely not, no.
That is, as in, I presume that's an absolutely not, as in absolutely you don't mind.
No, absolutely don't mind. No. I mean, I could be here until midnight, so you could have a bit of a wait. So.
All right, okay, no problem. Don't worry, I'll just wait by the email. It's absolutely fine. Jane, lovely to meet you, and congrats on your first craft along.
Thank you. It's been great fun. I've had a really good time.
Oh.
Thank you, Debbie, and thank you, Becky.
Thank you,
Oh,
Jane.
you're more than welcome. I can tell how much Jane is liking it because she's not even looking at the screen. I know full well she's gluing more flowers together. I can tell. Absolutely loads of them. Lovely, Gilmore, and joyous Jane there for you. They will send in their pictures. And speaking of carrying on with this, let's have a little look where we're up to with Debbie.
Yep, so I've just added a couple of little pieces of jute and I've just threaded them through those lovely banners that we've got on there. So, and again, I'm not tying pretty bows or anything like that. I just want to add a little bit of some dimension to my scrapbook page. What we're now going to do though is start to place things around. So I'm going to switch it up to 3D Collage Glue because I need a bit of movement with this. And I did this with my own project. So I'm literally just placing flowers down. I've got a bit of movement time so that I can change these up as well. But I just want to place them in. And again, it just adds a little bit of dimension. I am going to put one down here because I need a banner for the bottom part as well, which we've just run out of time, so I do apologise, but have a little play around with your banners. This one says, whatever life begins, I am here. Whatever life brings, I am here for you. And I just heat embossed that onto some craft card in one of the Midas ink pads. But again, you can, add these later, and you can add whatever kind of thing that you want to add to it. So I'm just going to pop that on there just to finish this off. And then the photo, obviously, you add once you're happy with the photo that you've chosen. Let me just pick that out because I just realised that's still in there. And then I'm going to, what was that? Oh, I thought she said a minute. Did you hear my heart pound then? Literally quite pounded, literally off my chest, because I'm thinking, what?
Literally?
There's no way I'm going to get this done in a minute. But I am now literally just going to place all of these pieces. I'm just going to bring in and place around and fit into my project. And I'm going to alternate them between the green and the whites. And I'm just going to put a little bit of glue onto the back. Don't worry if you can, because you can always move this around. That's the beauty of having our chunky glue. Call it what it is, Debbie, it's chunky glue. Because it gives you the time and the movement to get into place until you're happy with it. And this is all now about doing a little bit of titivation, is the word I'm going to use. You just add in some extra little embellishments. And it just adds a little bit of fun to this as well, but also some depth to your project. And especially when it's a scrapbook page, oh my God, you can go to town. Absolutely go to town, Becky, because there's so much you can do with them. I'm just going to place a few more of this foliage around the sunflowers. tuck those up round the back. Just keep me in check with the time, guys, just so I know where I am. Oh, needs 2.5 minutes there. I'll get it done, she says. And what I don't get done, Becky, doesn't matter, because I have got one that I've already finished, because I haven't fetched. I realised when I was bringing this up, I thought, uh-oh, I didn't fetch my spare picture. A typical Debbie thing. Bring your project, forget your picture. But it doesn't matter, Becky, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to panic. Notice how chilled I am. Chilled.
Don't worry, you've got 2 whole minutes.
I know, but how chilled am I, Becky? Normally I'd be like, let me get it on. Change
Sorry, is
woman.
this you chilled?
This is me chilled. I'm all chilled.
No, you are. Chill
I
out.
mean, you won't see me when I'm not chilled, because I've had many of those occasions. I'm just going to literally I'm just adding a few final little touches to this. But it really is... It's when she gets to that 60 seconds bit that's when I'm going to start panicking.
Just whilst you're gluing on, let me just remind you, on your screen right now is the mixed cardstock collection, gold, rose gold, silver. It is popular right now, just to let you know. But I was just thinking, this would be really cool with the golds and rose golds as well, the project you're doing, wouldn't it?
Absolutely. So when I take that in now, I've composed it all. Obviously, it needs a bit of drying time. Have a little play around with where your jute sits. And maybe add some other elements that you want to add to it as well. But you can see how it all composes, and then you're just going to add your picture. So if I bring in the one that is already done, because obviously that's still wet, but that is what it'll end up looking like. So again, I've just chosen, and I did it in a black and white one to match these, but on the other one I did it in a craft card because I was going to do a little touch of Midas embossing. But put your picture there as well. You've got a nice scrapbook page. I've now got 2 scrapbook pages, Becky, because I can add another photo here and maybe gift that to my daughter and keep that one for myself. I hope you've enjoyed it. Sorry it was rushed towards the end, but I hope you've really enjoyed the craft along, because I have.
That's lovely. Thank you so much. And thank you, Gilmore and Jane. So much love coming in for you both. I hope you carry on crafting. It goes great. Don't forget to take those pictures. Oh, we're back in 2 hours for Craft House. Fancy a bit of nature's garden? You're in the right place. Go get yourself a brew. I'll see you in 2 hours. Have fun.